you have been vocal on a bunch of things throughout your journey. I mean, literally, you've spoken up as it relates to Morgan Wallen. You've spoken up as it relates to Tucker Carlson. You have just spoken up in the face of injustice to literally anybody. It's really cool. But do you think about those moves, or do they just kind of come inherently, like just because it's who you are as a person?
I mean, I think sometimes I wish I had thought about those moves before reacting, but I think no. I mean, I stand by everything I've said, and I will till I die. I think like being at the GLAAD Awards was so fun because I just don't feel like a sore thumb. I feel like I'm in a community of people that are way braver and more courageous than I am. And but no, it just there's so much bigger shit going on that to have this like night to celebrate that hard work and like also, be educated was really nice for me because it just kind of gets me out of my own head and like back to the community building and the work that needs to be done. And these people are doing it. But no, I think, yeah, I have like a sort of, I don't know, like, I don't know if it's like my upbringing of being like raised in the South and, my heroes being outspoken and whether through their platform or through their songs. I mean, I was like a child of the 90s. So like my heroes are like Alanis and Cheryl. And so
Dixie Chicks.
yeah, the Chicks. I mean, oh my God. And I've gotten to tour with them, which was so fun. And they still are my heroes. So yeah, I mean, it's great loving someone's music. I think that's always like the first love you have is like that's what gets you into it, like to the artist. But I want the people that I spend my money on to be real. I want them to be human beings. And I want to like morally align with them, and it makes me feel closer to their music.
I've said for a long time, like when you support an artist, like people go, you separate the art from the artist, but the reality is like every stream, every ticket sale, every merch purchase is enabling that behavior, right? It's like continuing that. It's pushing that agenda. But the other thing is don't downplay your own bravery because the reality is like country music is very, country music. And with that comes a different set of like beliefs and standards. And you went somewhat anti that.
I think I went back to that. I think I went back to where country music was, which is like when you see interviews of Johnny Cash or like the Highwaymen with Willie and Christofferson, it was like
real.
Christofferson was a war veteran. So he's talking about like veterans' rights, veteran care. I mean, they're talking about public education. They're talking about homelessness. Those are the outlaws these people at their festivals have on a screen tee. Like, were you listening to them talk? Or are you just listening to Boy Named Sue? Like, I think I wasn't diverting from country music. I think I was touting what made me fall in love with it, which was reality and human stories through really clever storytelling and lyrical structure and heart and soulfulness in that vocal. There's so much like warmth in country music and what like I fell in love with it for, but also they were all like pushing the boundaries of, and they were advocating for like minorities and marginalized communities. That was my country music. I don't know where it changed, but I wasn't anti anything in it. I was anti, homophobia and bigotry, but like, I don't know. I felt like I was always marching to the drum of my country music heroes, and they were incredibly courageous.
It's worked out pretty well for all of them.
Yeah. I've like been fortunate enough to like meet Willie, and, his son Lucas is so sweet, and also was lucky to meet Chris Christofferson. And I just was like, it was so emotional for me. And also like when I worked with Dolly with my band, The Highwomen, and we did like Newport Folk Festival with her, it was just like it made me feel like this is what I love about this music is these are the real people. And I mean, and there's so much country music now that I love. And I love Stapleton. I love Sturgill, Tyler, Childers. Like, I mean, there's real storytelling happening. But there's like a ton of new music too that I am like have been exposed to through it because it's becoming such a popular worldly genre now.
It's giving diverse. It's giving more range than ever before, or at least in a while.
Yeah, it's definitely like
Maybe?
getting there for sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's all like there's work to be done everywhere, but yeah, I mean, of course, I think it's definitely further than it was, you know, when we were starting to have that conversation. But yeah, I think I'm not here to criticize a machine because that's what it is. But I think also like country music is so tied to like real people's stories and lives that like that is their story within that music. So they will take personally any sort of book to it or critique of it. So I understand that element of it for sure. And like I'm from Texas, like all of my idols come from that neck of the woods and the songwriting country world. So, I mean, yeah, it's just I think I'm older and wiser, and I think I'm just so like focused on myself that I I just I can't like listen to all the noise, and I just have to focus on like what I'm doing today. And I know my proof, and I've said this before, is like always the crowd at my show. That's like the best proof you could ever have is what does that crowd look like? Is it all one type of person? Do they all look like me? No. Like, it's really diverse and it feels safe. And my fans, I would hope, because of the choices I've made musically or with this platform, feel safer in that crowd because I've stood up to people that don't stand up for them.
That
Sure.
vitally important.
Yeah, I mean, like, I love music. I love putting it out, but I think like when you're live, it's like you are starting to see what your crowd looks like. And I've lost people along the way. I think that's normal. Like as you like get into a long career.
You're also evolving as a human being. Like, think about it. Like, you don't keep everybody around you as you evolve as a person. Like, you know, you shed the right people.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And I think like, of course, it's been wonderful with songs like The Middle and The Bones, and maybe people discovered me through that. I also think like this Coachella thing was interesting because like I was doing a song that was almost 10 years old with the orchestra, and there were like, it was kind of blowing up on TikTok of just people were like, I didn't know she sang like this. And I was like, this song's a decade old. It's been there. You just got to go like do the homework. But no, it's amazing. Anytime like your music like finds new audience.
I mean, so any other part of your process that still exists today from My Church and like Hero era?
It's all the same to me. I mean, I think the only thing that changes is my perspective and wisdom and some hard days and better days. That's like the only thing that's shifting. I think I'm just a student of life, of like conversation, books, podcasts. I will go see movies most of the time by myself because I consider it, I mean, it's fun. Also,
it's so
I don't want
healthy.
anyone sitting next to me like, maybe I have a problem. Like, this feels like bed, no breakfast again. And I'm like, please leave. No, I just want to be able to experience it and like form my own opinion and reaction with it. But I consider it work. I'm like, this is fun work, but I feel like it just fills my songwriter well.
Have you always done that? Going to
Yeah.
movies alone?
Yeah, since I was a teenager.